Guy who has a terrible reputation as an army commander, Sirski, who sacrificed upwards of 100,000 troops trying to take Bakhmut in vain. That fell in May of last year. And now Adeyevka, the same, falling just 2 weeks ago. And so she's trying to.
All right, enough of that. Hey, Mark, you are number one. According to this, John came in a close number one behind you. Number one second. Hey, Cheese McCracker, Eddie Eagle, Super G. Hey, Cliff. Pilot is here. ZJYL's market cap has dropped 300 million. ZJYL is a $5 stock, $4.70. You are number one on the channel. Yeah, I don't know about the education. You're welcome, but man, it's draining, isn't it? Happy Friday. So we have St. Patrick's Day coming up on Sunday. Today is, I don't know, the 2068th year since Julius Caesar was killed. Wow, Mexican, you were first. Well, up here, what happens? I don't know how it works. Let me just let Ham know I'm here. Once he comes on, he'll talk straight on through to the other side. Straight on through to the other side. I'm just texting him. So if he comes on, we'll talk. What I thought I would do, because I promised yesterday, is I would find out how to get the GTII dividend issued from E-Trade, and maybe I can do that live. Should have done that before I texted Ham, I guess. Call us. All right, let me call him. And I'm just going to block this while I identify myself. It's catchy
Your
tune.
call may be recorded or monitored for quality assurance purposes.
Catchy tune.
You've been selected to participate in a quick survey after your call to help us provide first-class service. To participate, please remain on the line after speaking with a representative. Please continue to hold, and we will get you to the next available representative.
Thank you. I've grown to love this tune. It lifts you up, 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 up. And then, just when you think you couldn't go higher, it starts over again. All right, so I'm just trying to find out from them how to get I guess I should sign in on my little computer here. I just remembered this may not work. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can sign in. Sometimes it tells me I can't. All right, I can. And we shall documents, forms and applications. So you go on in, I know that much. You go in, sorry, that is catchy tune, huh? You go into your E-Trade account, you go to forms and documents, but you have to go on the website. And catchy tune. Bank forms. God, there's so many forms. Transfers and distributions. Maybe I can find it without talking to these guys. Can't see it, so. Catchy tune, huh? At least they don't have to share royalties with the writer of that song. All right, cashless exercise form, that's not it. Do you ever feel like life is a tuxedo? All right, here we go.
Ryan Hammett is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished,
A message?
hang up or press pound for more options.
Call ended.
Well, anyway, I just tried to call in. You sign into E-Trade. You go up to the forms and documents tab, and one of these forms is how you get your GTII dividend unrestricted. And I don't know which one it is, which is why I called in. Deposit of shares information request form, maybe. Let me just try these guys again. It's swell.
Welcome to E-Trade. 1099 form. Please hold while I connect you to your dedicated active trader team.
Your call may be recorded or monitored for quality assurance purposes. Elected to participate in a quick survey.
You're going to
after your
enjoy
call.
the song
To help us
again.
provide first-class service. To participate, please remain on the line after speaking with a representative. Please continue to hold, and we will get you to the next available representative.
Hey, Linda Tully. Any private equity firms? I doubt it. Unless they call themselves private equity. I mean, CAUD has some private equity behind it. But I don't think the others do. I could own TikTok, I guess. Then I could. Ah, this is annoying. This is annoying. We'll find out which form it is on E-Trade that you need to use. Maybe we can look at some quotes until then. We can look at some quotes until then. Ah,
Thanks for calling E-Trade. This is Rampack. What can I do for you today?
hi, I'm calling in. I'm trying to unrestrict some shares in my account.
Okay, and then I get you pulled up here. If I
Nextbridge, are my shares on the way out?
Yeah, so I do see that they did put in that request for that DRS certificate request. It looks like that is still in pending. Those do take quite a while to fully process, but
I just talked to somebody
two.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just 2 days ago, and he said that they were being delivered to my house physical form. Now you're saying it's DRS and it takes a long time. Do you really have the shares available to distribute to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we do have the shares. It's called the same thing for us. It's the same request. It's a DRS/stock certificate request. That's kind of why I say both.
Oh, I see.
But I do see it was requested for the paper certificate. So it's just kind of a jargon that we use because they're in the same area. But yeah, I do see that's in that process. It's sent to you over at the 1325R Street.
That's right. He said it might be delivered next week. So anyway.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good time frame for that. It's generally with these requests, not even including just the mailing, they do just take a while to process and get those for you. But from what I can tell, those should be on the way soon.
Okay, so what I'm calling about is GTII. I have some restricted shares in my account. And last time I called in, they said there's a form I need to fill out. And I'm on the page of your forms, and I can't figure out which form it is that I need to print out for that.
Okay. Yeah, let me take a quick look. You said that was for DTII.
God, Tom, idiot, idiot.
On the website in our forms and applications area.
That's where I am, yeah.
Okay. So the one you're going to be looking for there, it's called Rule 144. Let me see exactly where that's located.
I don't see anything with that title, but that doesn't mean. Oh, under tax and legal, maybe.
Yeah, let me take a look. They do move these around from time to time, so I may not the exact location here, but let me take a look.
And then there's account agreements. There's a lot of forms.
Right. Yeah, let me take a quick look, and then I'll just make sure that's the one you need as well. I'm 99% sure, but let me place you on a brief hold. I'll verify that, and then I'll get that form's location for you, okay?
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Catchy tune. It's a different tune, just as catchy. Different. I just don't see that form here, but we'll find out. What a lovely intro. Wow, Richard, 250 smackers. Well, let's see what he tells me. My favorite part of the song right here. Hmm. Do you think they have customer service in heaven? You do have eternity up there to wait. There, that was good. That transition. It's lovely. Don't worry, lucky boy. I can't find this Rule 144. So I hope he can tell me where it is. It is the form. It's you go to the E-Trade site, you hit documents, and under documents are forms and applications. That's what you hit. Forms and applications. And then you listen to some of the best music you've ever heard. All right.
Okay, you still there, sir?
I am still here.
All right, great. So yeah, I did find move it on this difficulty there. On the top right, do you see the search bar?
I see the search part. Yeah.
All right, so just type in rule space 144.
Okay. And then hit return.
Yep, exactly. And it should be the first link. It'll say Rule 144 restriction packet.
Yeah, it does. Okay. So it was a little more complicated. All right. So this is 4 pages. I just print it out and fill it out and then sign it. Oh, and there's a stock power. Okay. That's no problem. And I have to mail it in, or do I take a picture and just send it back to you?
Yeah, but if you can just take a picture and then just go on our website to customer service, there's an upload button there. You can just send it that way. That'll certainly be the quickest.
All right. Okay. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And I will get that done today.
All right, awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you very much. Happy St. Patrick's Day. All right. Bye.
And
I
you as
mean,
well.
Sunday.
All right,
All right. All right.
ended.
I'm printing it out and I'll show you what it looks like. Hey, David, thank you very much. 50 smackers. I'll buy some. Well, I already did buy them. Bought some treats for my dog this morning. He gets very excited every night when I I break these treats into little bits, and I have a handful of them, and I throw them all over the mattress. And he's like a puppy again for about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Not legal advice is funny. They didn't tell me I have to pay anything. They didn't tell me that I have to pay anything. So, and I'm not a huge account. So I imagine that, you know, I'll go get this form though and show it to you. Let me see what GTI, you guys are saying GTI is doing something weird trading. Let me see. Yeah, it's up 0.0001. Bid is 0.3004, ask 0.304. So they've got a decimal point in the spread, which is on a percentage basis is pretty big. The chart actually doesn't look all that bad to me. It's a small chart that I'm looking at, but it doesn't look all that bad. Volume is over 1 million shares. Let me look at an advanced chart. Yeah, that chart doesn't look all that bad. But anyway, so your point is a washing machine? I don't know. I don't know what's happening today. Thanks, Punch Tree. How do you think SEC, FINRA, NDH meeting went? I don't know the answer to that, but maybe we can find out why whilst we're on the phone. Yeah, the chart, I think the GTII's chart looks not bad. It doesn't have that sinking feeling some of the other charts do. It actually looks like it's turning and has strength. So I heard that on Twitter, they sometimes clip what I'm saying and they put out all the doom and gloom. I'm sure they won't put out that I said something positive. It feels like it's fake noise, fake news. Let's see. Wow. It's so bad. It's just so bad to get all excited by a move of 0.00165. But HNRC is up 9% this morning. The one I'd like to see some news on is Logic, and that's not up. That's down 0.003, down 11%. But it's just the movement from the ask to the bid. Can you hear my dog snoring? Anyway, in terms of NextBridge, let's see if we can find something out. Maybe somebody knows. Finally. Yeah, finally it's looking good. But anyway, that's one of the first things you need to see. There isn't any news I know about. What I'm kind of hoping, somebody said here yesterday that there's a new interview with the CEO. I spent probably 20, 25 minutes looking for it. I couldn't find it on HNRC. I'll go get. Well, hang on. I want to show you something. While we're talking, if I can find it. Everything takes so long on my computer. But I'll go get this form and show it to you for your GT. This is E-Trade, but I'm sure it's the same at all the other brokerage firms. To get your GTII shares unrestricted, which, as you can tell, I haven't done it in my own account yet. But I will. I will. I don't know what you've got, but it's got me, baby, baby, baby. I'm down on my knees. All right, here we go. Let me see where I want to show you this while I go get this form. There it is, number 2238. 2238. There it is, right there. Let's see if it'll open. I don't know if it will. Okay, show. I'll be right back. It's got me. Baby, baby, baby. It's got me. Oh. If I were Norm Macdonald, I'd probably point out to you that that's one attractive guy. So you get this Rule 144 restriction, and they said I can just take a picture and upload it. So it's pretty easy. It's called a Rule 144 Seller's Representation Letter. And it needs a signature. Let me see if it needs notary. No, doesn't need notarized. Does not need a notary. And here's the stock power. This is why I tell you never to sign the back of a certificate when you're mailing it. This is what you use, a stock power. If you don't get one of these, but your brokerage, it was that easy to download. You should be able to download one. You can also just Xerox the back of the certificate. But that way, no one, if you are really concerned, like if Jennifer's still here.
Oh, here, Andy.
All right, here we go. You can send them in 2 different envelopes and then they can't steal from you.
Here.
Hello? Yeah, I hear you're live if you want to be.
Oh, you got the speaker? You ready to go?
Yeah, you can't tell any bad jokes. Unless you're Richard Hoffman, then you can tell
I was
bad
listening to, this is a Richard Hoffman joke. I was listening to Rodney Dangerfield last night.
jokes. Yeah.
He says at our house, we pray after we eat. All right, let me just get in the car. 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm sorry. So anyway, William, hold on. Let me just put my seatbelt
Is
on.
Ace here? Ace
Is
is
Ace
here. Ace is here on the Ides of March.
Okay, so anyway, I am done with hospital visits. I'm back home, all good. and thank you everybody for their kind wishes. Let's go right to it. There has been some capybara action. I'm not at liberty to tell you till it's released, but I can tell you it's the craziest shit ever. And this character,
Is he on cocaine?
what the hell's his name again? I forgot his name. Igor, some shit, whatever the frick his name was. He showed up in the Southern District today, everyone. And I can just tell you, from him showing up, it's not going to end pretty for him. That I can tell you. And I hope there's coming out soon about what happened in the Southern District today with this clown. Because that will basically show you what we're going against here. He's a hired criminal by someone, whether it's Lynn, whoever it was, and he's a stooge. And when he does finally get arrested, and I'm sure the Southern District now knows what he is, I'm sure that when he gets busted, that we'll get a little intro to who's paying him to do what. I mean, I can't say, I'm sorry, I wish I could say more. It's so fucking crazy. If you think the Alpine short is crazy, or this is crazy, or every fucking crazy thing we see, what this guy did today is 100 times crazier.
Is he on cocaine? I'm just kidding. Remember that CEO said they're all on cocaine.
Yeah, well, this is a paid basher who writes reports from wherever. He's defaulted, and he decided to show up at a hearing today, and he basically, I can't tell you, I wish I could tell you more. He showed what he really is, a buffoon, and it was 100 times worse. Whatever you think I could possibly say, it's 100 times worse and funnier. And I do believe that enforcement eventually is going to grab this knucklehead. That's how stupid it was. So that's that. I'll just shoot over the finger motion. All right. I don't know when the earnings come out. I don't know when the company will release any information about what's going on. I do not know any of that stuff. I just go based on what we see, from Williams, your interview with the CEO. I can tell you shit's coming down the road, whether it's the dividend, which I assume is coming, and whatever deals the CEO is talking about. I don't know what it is, but I assume that's something. I'm hearing rumblings it's coming. That's all. But I guarantee you, it's going to be painful for Lynn Partners, and I don't give a shit. I don't care if Ken Griffin's short the stock; it's going to get run over. And just look at Root, ROOT. Root was destroyed. Okay, wiped out, destroyed, reversed. The stock went from 30 to $1 back up to 25 on the reverse, back down to 7. It was a $8 billion IPO. I believe the whole company right now, maybe, I haven't calculated, it maybe is worth $1 billion today. Okay, all those billions were stolen. Okay, and I don't know what the actual look in here. It's $750 million market cap. Today the stock is $51. So it's got a long way to go. It's got to go up another what? I don't even know. Another 5-fold, 6-fold to get back to even? No, more than that. It's got to go to $8 billion. It's only at 800 million right now. But the company put out news. All the company said is that our revenue is growing, and we're only going to lose $7 million on the last quarter. That's what the company put out. The company didn't come out and said they were profitable. It's showing that it's going towards profitability, right? Their revenue is growing, and their loss is less. I expect Finger Motion to grow their revenues and be profitable. Now, I expect that coming down. Not in 2 years. I expect that now. We have a small float. Most of it's owned by people that I know. And we're all sitting here. No one's panicking. We all know what's going on. You can't stop the manipulation. They keep washing stock back and forth. After they wash it, they tick it lower. All they're trying to do is buy more settlement time. And again, companies like GTII have to build a business. Very different. Finger Motion is now a mature company from when I first invested in it. And now it's turning and should be turning a profit shortly. Very different than GTII. Whether it's the end of the year they're going to do it. William, I think it's the end of the year now for them. I remember it was very confusing what he said. But I think this is the end of the year. Did I lose you, William?
I'm I'm slow sometimes.
William?
Yeah, I'm here. You can hear me, can't you? Can you?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Oh, now I can hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think that this quarter is the end of their 2024 year because it's in 2024, but it goes back to 2023. It was confusing, but yes, this is the end of their 12 months.
Right. And it sounded to me that the revenue is growing and profitability is here. So again, if it's not this one, it's the next quarter, but we're right at the door. And I have no fear. The people I know are not concerned about it. No one's running away. No one's going away. No one's selling it. No one's even concerned about the manipulation here.
No.
All right. So that's from people that I know that own a lot of stock, not 100,000 shares, a lot of stock. And stocks go up, stocks go down. If people would have bailed out in the video when it was 200, they would have missed $600 in the run, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. I'm sure some people have bailed out, but that's how it goes. And the only thing that's holding the stock down is manipulation. And the funny thing about manipulation by Lynn Partners is that in KNW, they just signed that deal with $12 million debenture. And yet the stock is just basically teetering. It won't crash because they know that the stock can't handle their onslaught of selling. So what I think they're doing in KNW is they're trying to bait people into buying the stock by creating this no volume, holding it up a penny, 2 pennies. And I think people figure out what's going on and they're bailing, but it's a small company. And you know what? It's the people out of Seattle. I know a lot of shareholders from Seattle, and the CEO and the company's from Seattle. So I'm sure there's a section of people in Seattle that are getting their asses reamed in KNW because that stock can't possibly go up at $12 million and owed to Lynn Partners. And the only way they get their money back, William, is they do what?
Sell
Stock and get their money back. They're sitting and saying, okay, we sold 10,000 shares today at 80 cents. We got 8,000 back. We got a long way to go to get to 12 million. That's what they sit around doing. That's their whole goal. Please stay up. Don't go down. We got to sell more shares. And guess what? When the stock goes down a little bit, the CEO comes and tells everybody, relax. We're getting funded. Our glucose meter is going to work. Don't worry about it. Buy the dips. That's what the CEO is going to say. And he's helping lead everybody into the slaughterhouse because that doesn't work. The only way Finger Motion got rid of the criminals. Look how hard it is to get rid of them. We got rid of them, and they're still fucking around. GTI got rid of the criminals. They even roped in a prime broker. Look how hard it is they don't cover. That's how we're all not stupid. We all know who did what. We all know how big it is. The SEC looking the other way. Just look at the governments. Everybody's yapping about security fraud and trying to end it. Every country's trying to stop it. The U.S. doesn't even acknowledge it. They acknowledge that J.P. Morgan got fined $350 million for security fraud. 10 years of looking the other way. Not a week, 10 years. They've had a license to steal for 10 years. Jamie Dimon's making a fortune. Every one of those companies that were manipulated, that they never overlooked all the red flags. What companies were they? How many shares did they sell? You know they weren't manipulating the stocks on the upside,
Right.
right? Because if it was a pump and dump, they would have been shut down already, right? Short and distort, that's good for us. Pump and dump is bad.
They just dump, 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 dump.
It's
dump,
just
dump.
endless. And it's funny, I follow a bunch of different stocks. I follow ZJYL, my friends are in it. GDC, my friends are in it. TELO, my friends own the whole goddamn thing. And the manipulation, it's all different stocks. It's got nothing to do with each other. Different things they're doing. Chinese, this doesn't make a difference. It's the same pattern. Mark it down, sell it lower. That doesn't make a difference. That's the same pattern. People say, oh, they're just following me. Follow me what? I could pick KNW if they're following me. I declared that my number one naked short selling stock. Naked short should rip the shit out of this thing. Lynn Partners, the only way they can get their money back is to sell. It's right there. And no one does anything. The stock hardly trades. How come? Because criminals do not play in other people's games. The Kramers should be all over this one. Free money. Get Charlie Mayo out there, right? To sell tickets. KNW, they know. Lynn Partners, they put out a press release. How come no one goes and shorts the stock? Because unless you have the debenture, they don't come there. I hope everyone understands that, William. Did I make myself clear?
I think they understand it.
Finger motion has Lynn Partners and his little group, his little mafia, his crime family, organized crime family here. The Kramers and GTI have their crime family, whether it's Alpine, their cousins, friends overseas, someone doing it for them. Everyone has their own crime family attached to the stock.
Mhm.
The Kramers don't jump into Lynn. Lynn's not jumping into the Kramers' house. They don't do that. KNW is a short, distort heaven because it can't go anywhere but down because Lynn needs that money back. The company can come out with all the positive news they want. They're just going to blast away. How do I know that? Because I watched it in CELU. I met the company. It was 80 cents. And Yorkville gave them the money. Never filed that they owned a position in it. Destroyed the company down to 20 cents. Destroyed it. Funded them more. Destroyed it. What did they do? They reversed the stock. And I told the guy that was the CEO comes out. It's the only thing we can do now. And CELU is back in business, trying to cure whatever infectious disease they're doing. And the CEO uses that as a crutch, saying, hey, guys, I'm trying to save lives. And you're sitting there saying, you just fucked my whole life by borrowing money from these criminals. I lost all my money. He's going to say, hey, if you're dying, come back to me. Maybe I can get you a pill to save your life. That's what the CEO is saying. The CEO of KNW is going to say the same thing. Hey, I took money. I got to get to the finish line. And you're going to say, well, my stock price is never going up. Hey, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I need the money. That's what he's going to say. I got to finish my job. Don't complain to me. That's what he's going to say. And that's what the CEOs say. They don't mean to say it like that, but that's what happens. I'm just giving you the exaggerated of what the truth is, but that's what really is what happens. And a classic example of that is Charlie Victor Mary, Gert at CVM. He's been raising money, trying to fight this cancer that he's trying to save, head and neck cancer, which I hear he's getting closer and it's all good news, but the stock, he keeps raising money. And if you say to Gert, what are you doing? I'm going to save your life. I have to keep doing it. He raises money, repeat, rinse, reverse, repeat, rinse, and he keeps doing the same thing. My friends are in that stock that speak with the CEO all the time. They tell me how good everything's going. Yet, if stock was at 3, Gert raised more money, we're back to 2 again. He keeps doing it. 3 to 2 is down 33%, by the way. And he just keeps doing it. But they keep saying, well, he's going to get the cure. The company's going to be worth $2,000 when he does it. And I hope so.
But in the middle, while you're sitting here trying to survive, it's tough to keep watching him raise money, give more shares away to the criminals. Eventually, then what does he do? He dilutes it so much that he has too many shares again because the market cap is out of whack, and they reverse it again. And that's the game. That's all they keep doing. There's not much more to say. But I will tell you, the shit that happened in the Southern District today, when you do hear it, 9 out of 10 of you are going to wet your pants when you hear the story. I only hope there's a video of what happened. Any other questions?
I hope those 9 out of 10 are wearing diapers.
Yeah, well, they advertise Depends for both men and women now on TV. And my family pointed them out last night. They said, as you get older, we're going to get to those. I looked up, I says, Depends for adults. Like they put their Depends on and they're going out dancing.
This gentleman is, I guess, asking, but
Please tell me he's law enforcement and he wants to go get somebody. That's what I want to hear.
No, he's a shareholder, and he feels like Finger is the same as AMC or GME.
That is, AMC was in so much trouble. They need the debt. Look at all the debt. The GameStop was going out of business. So tell me what his fear is between Finger Motion and the business models of GameStop and AMC.
Well, he doesn't have very much room to explain himself, but
No, I'm just saying. I'm getting him. I want him to think. Now, listen. I called GameStop, not based on the stores in the mall, and I did play Call of Duty all the time. I played the video games, and and Roaring Kitty was up there saying, I love this company fundamentally. It makes games in the mall, and they're shutting the stores down, and everybody's going online, but it's a good business model. It meant nothing. It was a short squeeze of the greatest magnitude that you've ever can see. The hedge funds came in and they ripped the other shorts and they caught them, and that's what happened. What happened when it went? The company raised hundreds of millions of dollars, if not maybe $1 billion. I don't even know. Closed down stores, raised money, and they're back in business and whatever they're doing, right?
mm-hmm.
AMC, when their stock squeezed, they raised all types of money and paid off all the debt, or most of their debt, but they still have more. And Wall Street hates the movie industry. They want everyone to sit in their home and watch TV. I love the movie industry and I love to go to the movies. So I support them. But the fundamentals of the debt and all that stuff, Wall Street's not giving them a chance to survive, and they're going to keep choking him. And the CEO is on the side of the shorts. Not that he's shorting it, but he's not doing anything to protect the investors. So I see nothing like Finger Motion, which is announced a special dividend. We should see the details on that sooner or later. The company hired Mark Bazile to go after the guys that did the fake report. All right. The company's fully funded, has no debenture with anyone, and has no debt. I see nothing matches here. Am I right, William? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
I'm giving you my opinion on it, and I've been following it a while, and that's what I say. I don't know every gory detail about AMC, but if you go watch Charlie Gasparino, all he tries to do is piss on it. I don't know why, or he pisses on the investors every day. So there's a sore subject there that someone that must be short a lot of stock, but the company needs to come out and fight for everybody, and they just don't.
Do you think Gasparino is being paid?
I think he's aligned with the big hedge funds, Virtue, Ken Griffin. Hey, listen, if I was going to align myself with anybody, it'd be Ken Griffin. The guy's got what, $20 billion in the bank, $30 billion.
Didn't what's his name say he is the Fed?
Pat Burns said that.
Pat Burns, yeah, Pat Burns.
So if you're going to be a friend, when I saw him, he was standing right next to me in Miami. People yelled at me, "Why didn't you say something to him?" It's the guy's worth $35 billion. I should have asked him if I can wash his car. What are you kidding me? That's who you want to hang out with. You want to hang out with the money. I don't want to hang out with the homeless people. So that's what happened. So Charlie Gasparino, whoever else, Goldman Sachs, they all know this guy is, he's giving away a lot of money to keep everybody
So are
silent,
you
right?
standing on the corner, shuffling to the street? Anyway, guess what ZJYL's trading for?
I have no idea.
The low was $4.09, and the high on the day was 540. Anyway, right
am I
now it's
supposed-
trading at $5.13. 512 by 515.
Okay, so let me listen. I understand stocks are down. I got it. The shorts are trying to get the stock to get people to bail out. That's all they're trying to do. But there's not enough investors. All the people I know, besides the big boys, don't add up to shit.
Well, that's the thing. We don't own enough of this to move it one way or the
How many
other.
shares do you own, William? And you made it pretty well said.
420. I thought I had more, but it was 420 when
You
I,
owned 18 shares and they got forward split. Right?
yeah,
Something like
that
that,
was
right?
something,
Whatever.
yeah. Whatever that adds up to.
So they changed the price, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
If you owned 1,000 shares, I mean, just there's not enough. No one was buying it that big of a size at 300. We bought stock. I know people were buying. I know people have paid 8. I know people paid 9. I don't know anybody paid higher than that. But I know people that purchased it 6, 5, whatever the numbers are. Still, no one has bought. Not one person that I know that is as big as the people that I know are in it. You know, my friend owns over 500 and something thousand shares of the stock.
Wow.
I mean, there's some big boys there, and they owned it. You know, when it was trading at 300, they never sold it.
Right.
They know they got these guys trapped. They know Interactive Brokers is dirty in this game. And you know what? When they get them, they're going to punish them. That's what happens. So I'm told to wait. They're going to get them. So I'm sitting there waiting. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's what I'm doing. GDC is the same people. That company is even a smaller float. And, you know, people I know own, you know, all of it. They own most of it. And they manipulate it every day. And I paid $3.80 for it. Now I know it's $1.30, $1.40, whatever it is. But I know that it's going to go. And I'm sitting there waiting for it. I know nothing about the fundamentals. I don't know what it does. I'm just following very smart guys. If I told you Goldman Sachs was buying, their top banker was buying a stock, oh, let me make it better. If I told you Nancy Pelosi was buying it, you would all follow it, correct? Well, that's how I feel about the guy who bought these positions. He's my Nancy Pelosi.
You're not contrary indicator. You're
Well, Nancy Pelosi bought PANW, and it's been acting like shit ever since she bought it. Went up 1 or 2 days and it's gone straight down.
right.
It was over 300. It's now down to 282. She still owns it. Something you know is going to come. What days are going to come? She's not telling you. But she also owned NVIDIA, and she made over $2 million in that trade. And what, a couple of months?
Yeah.
So I watch it every day and looking for a sign from the gods that PANW is next up. I just don't know what it is.
This gentleman's asking you, in your opinion, which stock has more momentum for the upside, Finger or GTII?
Well, GTII, we're waiting for the company to put some fundamental value in here. We've been hearing it, you know, it's coming. You know, Richard, it's not legal advice, put up a letter. He spoke with the management, and they told him, their lawyer told him that the deal will be out in March K. So at the end of this month. So whatever day is, it's the 31st or something like that. I can't determine what that is until I see what the hell it is. I don't know. But that will put a floor on the stock, right?
Right.
It'll have some value, right? That's what we're looking for. Finger motion, I know has the value. I know that they're funded. They don't need any money. There's no dilution. There's nothing going on here. Right? It's a very different situation. So, in my opinion, listen, JTI could come out tomorrow and say, we have XYZ, and the thing just take off. It can go in a second. But based on what I see, finger motion is, based on what the company has been saying, in the interview with William, that, this thing's happening shortly. So
Was there or is there an Alpine ruling next Monday?
Richard, that legal advice is the expert on that. I can't keep up on court documents. I'm not an attorney. It's like Chinese to me. I understand Chinese better than I do that stuff.
Quite.
All I like to see is when the SEC
Quiet.
says, I like it when the SEC says easy, and when they say, hey, Hal Mintz, he got caught in a naked short selling scheme trying to defraud all these people. That I understand. That's easy to understand. Alpine, fighting and doing this and doing that, it's very difficult for me to get my hands around it. Like everyone else, I'm not an attorney.
This is a longer question. I think it's a good question. I don't know. What if the SEC says everything is okay? That
They should have said that a long time ago, right? How come they've never said anything? Because it's not okay.
But if they do,
The SEC,
can another agency step in, like the Secret Service?
they know about it. So they've been educated about it. Ace knows the gentleman that introduced this to the Secret Service. It's not like it's a secret. People know the Secret Service people here. So the shareholders know them. I didn't know them, but when they told me, they introduced me, I went and I gave them all the information. I sent them proof. I sent them emails. I've done everything I can and presented the case. Just look at the DOJ. They said last year, in May of 2023, it's almost a year, they expect that they're going to start locking up short sellers in the next couple of months. And here it is, it's almost a year now. Remember, Andrew Leff said, I'm living in fear that I can get arrested any day. That's what Andrew Leff said. So that was a year. So it just shows you that they said a couple of months, and that was a Bloomberg story. I posted today about how they naked short in the IPOs. So everyone here who wants to go buy an IPO, they naked short right into them. And they did it to Uber. I put that story up in case you forgot that story. Listen, I keep trying to tell everybody, the whole thing is criminal. The deck's just so slanted. The only companies that I would even entertain following are people that are fighting, that understand it. I spoke with the CEO of Rum when it was $4. He wanted proof. And he was bold that we have a great business plan. We got money in the bank and blah, 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 blah. But he wasn't going to fight. And to me, I care less. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want to join him. I spoke with the guy, and I wouldn't have invested any money into it. It popped 3 points, $3.50 now, but it's down from 11. So I didn't know the whole history of it, but it's tied to free speech and all that stuff. And, maybe because of the elections, it gets some traction on it with that DWAC. I don't know. That's the only reason I would trade it, but I would never invest in it and say the CEO is fighting for me, because he's not fighting for you. I can tell you that straight out. He wants to see the proof. But now the stock popped back up. I don't think he would. I don't think he gives a shit at this point.
Apparently, shorts are saying on Twitter that Benzinga asked for 2 more weeks to respond. And Fingers' lawyers said no way.
The shorts know what Benzinga is saying.
I don't know. The shorts are full.
He defaulted already, but
the shorts are full of short.
He defaulted already.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. When you default, you default.
You don't know anything about that.
Yes, I do. What is it?
No, you don't. There was an
The capital,
SEC.
the capital of Bolivia is La Paz.
That's very good. What's the capital of Canada?
Oh, I don't know, Montreal.
See,
I
you're
don't
not
know.
so proud there, are you?
Quebec. What is it?
No.
Ottawa. What is it? Calgary.
You got it. Ottawa. You got it. Third try.
I'm only thinking of hockey teams. I'm a hockey fan, so I don't know which one it is. All I know is someone told me that the most beautiful girls in Canada live in Calgary. The guys are ugly as sin, but the girls are beautiful. A comedian said that. I heard that recently.
Most beautiful girls in the world compared to the men are Ethiopian. In my opinion. Anyway, he's just wondering how the SEC meeting went with FINRA regarding Nextbridge Holdings, and you don't know anything about that.
No, I stay out of that. I stay out of that little anyone in MMTLP, Hester Pierce, the SEC commissioner that Charlie Payne helped roast her for you, is going to be in Tampa in April. She says, I welcome, email me and ask me your questions, and I'll set up a meeting and we can meet face to face. She said it on Twitter. Go there and knock yourself out.
David, who's a good guy, he's also he's a truck driver, so he lets us know that the economy isn't as strong as it looks. He's stuck on the Cross Bronx Expressway. So
get out of your car, burn it, throw a match in, and keep going. That's the only way to get rid of it.
Why would anyone drive a truck on Friday? It must be
shithole. Oh God.
It must have been paying extra for that load.
I only travel in and out at certain times. It's just too hard, especially the Cross Bronx.
I guess it goes across the Bronx.
It goes across the Bronx. Very good, William. Tell that gentleman to go there when the Yankees are playing at home in the afternoon. Go enjoy himself.
One guy almost was shaken out of ZJYL, but he held it, and he says F them. Lots of laughs.
My friends own millions of dollars worth of stock, and they don't even flinch. And they're confident. I spoke with them today, and I ask every day. And I posted this morning, nothing has changed in the names that I follow. It means that I'm telling you that I check my sources and I go back and just keep up on it. It's not like I just forgot about them. I don't have to make a 10-page report every day to tell you that GTII, that they're manipulating the stock back and forth all day long. Is it still 30 cents?
GTII?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking, but I can do it very quickly. I'm looking at ZJYL, which is unchanged. From when I talked to you before, it is down on the day. Yeah, it's 0.30843. Wow. Thank God I didn't pay 0.30844.
Just think about how a stock has been in the same spot for days. I don't know how many days now, 10, 11 days.
Yeah.
It goes to, every once in a while, it'll pop to 33, 34 cents and push it back down. There must be some arbitrage that they're doing offshore somewhere between that and.
Or they're moving it out of some account to another.
That's something, they're doing it somewhere. There's absolutely hanky-panky going on there.
Let me see if this guy, it's a little hard to read, but he's on GDC, the float versus the short is 20-1, finger 9-1, ZJYL 6.5-1.
That's the real short? Is he talking about the real short?
Well,
the reported short?
He doesn't say. He doesn't say.
Okay.
Float. I think he might be doing it he's pretty sophisticated. He might be doing it based on what we're all talking about. Wolf 4-1 GTII.
Listen, I met the people at Wolf.
Yeah.
There were 200 people in a conference and I was attending and they were super nice and you got a chance. I spoke with the CFO. I spoke with the CEO. You know, I talked about short selling and they said they were paying off Yorkville. And I told them, you know, they should do this, that, and the other thing. And they thought that they can do it. Whatever they're going to do is going to break the shorts and blah, 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 blah. I watched Bitcoin go to 70,000 and the stock go lower. People saying, oh, they got all types of warrants that they're exercising, but the I don't know. I can't get into every gory detail of it because I don't know. But the company's the real deal. And if management of that company has let these guys at Yorkville just completely manipulate their stock, then shame on them.
Yeah.
You know, these guys build nuclear power plants. They're experts at it. They built the power plants. They built Mara, M-A-R-A, and R-I-O-T, Riot. They built the original Bitcoin mining companies, and they turned it into Wolf. These are real people. And how they're letting anyone rape them is beside, I can't figure it out. Why? How?
Well, here's a question. I don't know if you use this terminology, but what does it mean to you when a stock barcodes for an entire day?
I don't use that technology, but it sounds like the patient died, right?
Yeah, it just goes
It goes
sideways on.
It's just, so what they do is they're just washing trades back and forth.
Yeah.
They're just trying to buy settlement time. If E-Trade calls up Morgan Stanley and says, hey, you got to deliver me 1 million, 2 million shares by Friday, Morgan Stanley is calling the client up. The client's sitting there saying, okay. And they get another LLC to sell it to the other guy who's short, and that he's closing out his position. And he shows E-Trade, here you go. I just bought it from Goldman Sachs. And E-Trade says, okay, you fulfilled your obligation. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, someone else calls up, and I need delivery of 200,000. Then you'll see them wash 200,000. That's how they're doing it. It's like kiting a check. Or, you know, when they kite a check, you're trying to use a check to cover a debt and using another check and another check. That's what these guys are doing, only with stock. That's the same thing. Because look at it. We all say the same thing, William. Day in, day out. Someone is selling counterfeit shares, right? And what would expose a counterfeit? If someone would settle the trades. That's it. So you're telling me all these stocks that we follow, no one's settling anything? That's what it looks like to me.
Some people believe it's all getting settled. Just you don't see it, but I think that's crap.
Whoever said that, I'm just outside by the Brooklyn Bridge. I'll be able to, it's for sale. I'll sell it to you tomorrow. And you can put your own toll booth on it. How's that one? I'll sell you that too.
You can name it Trump Bridge or something.
You can call it whatever you like. Just pay me in cash and small bills, and I'll just put it on the bag and I'll pick it up. It's your bridge.
We'll have it delivered by 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Listen, everyone,
or you get it for free.
Listen, William,
Yeah.
for the people that are question this stuff, it's been going on a while.
Yeah.
I put stories up about The Economist. I put up the best story ever written in 2002 about United Airlines. Gene Marisel from Business Week wrote the story. He put it in baby language for everybody here to read. People are buying the stock. The only people that own United Airlines stock was funds, the pension funds, and the unions. And they would buy the stock and never get delivery of it. They knew right away. They said, no one's delivering the stock.
Right.
And he wrote in there, it's pretty easy. Now, when United Airlines went to zero back then, all the unions and everyone got wiped out. And I spoke to someone, I can't remember who told me, their cousin worked for United Airlines back then. I think it was the attorney that I spoke with, that I had lunch with. I think it was him. And he told me that his cousin worked for United Airlines. I think was a pilot in the union. And got wiped out. They lost everything. And then he read the story when I posted. Now they know why it happened. And they just restart over again. And everybody who lost and got wiped out, all those poor people lost all their pensions that worked for United Airlines back in 2002. No big deal. No one here cares until it goes to your job and you lose everything. Think about all these guys making cars, MULN, Rivian, or all these other car makers, all these electric cars. Before it was the rage, now it's out. Now it's open season. Kill them while you can, right? File for bankruptcy, wipe them out. No one protects them. We all want them, but no one protects them.
This guy's saying, why stop at selling one copy of the Brooklyn Bridge? Why don't you sell 100 of them?
I'll be glad to do it. It's a beautiful bridge. And when you go over it, just make a right and you can go right to Peter Luger's, get a nice steak.
One gentleman wants to know what's going on with the idea of setting up an exchange / brokerage / news.
Why don't you tell him, William? You know more. You know.
I don't know. I don't have all your abilities to excite.
You know what? I'm not trying to excite it. I told you that my son had surgery. That as soon as this is over and we're clear, that we're going to go. We're going to Abu Dhabi, and we're going to go to Singapore, and we're going to go on the way home. We're going to stop in South Korea. I already reached out to the South Koreans, and they said that when I'm ready to set up the appointments, they'll welcome me. I sent them the business plan already. William has a connection to Abu Dhabi, to the high-profile people in Abu Dhabi. Correct, William?
I guess I don't disagree.
I'm not making it up. Am I correct?
No, you're right.
So let's tell the truth. There you go. And we're going to go, and if I just get the license for the exchange, I can raise hundreds of millions of dollars. Just give me the license. Give me the license to operate a venture exchange, and I will raise all the capital myself. We will have a buy and sell only exchange, no short selling at all. Short selling, if you open up the short selling, that means stock loan, and it means criminal activity. We want companies like, I'll use KNW, to delist from the U.S., list in whatever exchange where they're going to be at, and he's got $12 million now, right? Imagine leaving the U.S. Lynn wouldn't be able to short against that debenture because there's no shorting. They would have to be an investor like the rest of us, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the game plan. So whatever region wants to have an exchange that we can actually loot, I'm going to be a looter and solicit U.S. public companies and throw them all under the bus to make sure they leave the U.S. and come get protected and start with their ideas. There'll be we can actually start our own conferences there, financial conferences where people can actually come and meet the wealthy people and they can tell their stories and actually raise money from real investors, not people that want to short and hedge. Because everyone on this phone, wouldn't it be nice to sit there? I'm going to give you $10 million. I only got $1 in my pocket. And they go, this is great. As soon as you say it, we're going to work on the paperwork. I start selling you stock. And you say, when are we going to get our money? And they'll be looking at, okay, we got $3 million for you tomorrow. Get it all settled up. Here you go. Here's $3 million. We'll give you $7 million in a couple of weeks. And that's what they're doing. So they're shorting the stock, taking the proceeds, and giving it to the companies. That's your investors there. There you go. That's what's going on. And everybody on this phone can do the same thing.
I don't quite get this. If the shorts walked away from their trade, and stuck it to international IBKR, who's going to force the buy-in? IBKR? If IBKR already took over the trade?
Well, they're going to have to, they can't leave these things open in accounts forever. They're going to have to close them out.
Right.
And you say, well, that doesn't happen. That's the next question. Really? GameStop, HOLO, whatever the hell that thing was, went from 2 to 100, right? ROOT just went from 7 to 45, $50. Who the shorts weren't covering it before, they're covering it now, right?
Right.
They happen when they happen. I can't tell you if I've always said it. It's like candid camera. When you least expect it, that's when it happens.
Right. There's not a lot of questions. Somebody's asking about Bitcoin, but that's not why we're here.
Bitcoin, I'm told, is going to, what did they say to me the other day?
Fluctuate.
No. My friend who told me to buy Bitcoin at 16 to 17,000, which I put on Twitter, he's a monster Bitcoin guy, big player. He probably made $1 billion plus on it. He said you can get 20 to 1 leverage buying Bitcoin. If you put up $1 million, when he told me, it would have been worth $100 million today.
Wow. 10 to 1.
And he told me he was going to 50 to 60 to 100,000 based on the BlackRock ETF.
And it's happening.
And it's done nothing but go up. And the biggest crime of it is that I'm not a Bitcoin player. I was introduced to Bitcoin by friends that were buying Bitcoin, delivering it to the drug dealers and getting paid in cash and making money from it. That's what I thought Bitcoin was. I had no idea. And that's why I never bought it, because my friends were buying Bitcoin for $5,000, put it in their wallet, go down the block, transfer it to some knucklehead. Knucklehead would give them $5,500 in cash, and he was making $500 a transaction, doing it 3 times a day, and he was making $2,000, $3,000 a day buying Bitcoin and selling it. That's what I thought Bitcoin was. So when you asked me about Bitcoin, that's what I knew about it. And that's why I never touched it, because I thought it was a thing by, to launder money.
I'm an idiot. I had a chance to buy tens of thousands of coins under $1. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd be rich right now. I wouldn't
I'll
even
leave you with
return
that.
your phone call if I
You
were
can
that
you could be the Lord of the idiots on that one.
Oh, God, I am. I had a notebook. I'm writing it down. I'm studying it. And
Well, my one friend from Chris is a shareholder. He's from Las Vegas. Great guy. I've met him a couple of times, and he told me about Bitcoin and Michael Saylor and MSTR when it was $200. That the guy went all in with this public company in Bitcoin.
he's over here at Tyson's Corner. I used to go to his. Anyway, I used to go to his.
But
building.
he was been reading and following him, and he played Bitcoin based on what he was doing, and he went all in. And his
MicroStrategy.
Right. It was doing shitty when Bitcoin was when they knocked it down, everybody was shorting it, and then Bitcoin ripped. He bought more and more Bitcoin, and I think he raised money to buy more Bitcoin. Like he did, I think he did some bond transactions to raise money, and he used the money to buy Bitcoin. And it's but he was paying a certain percentage to borrow the money, and he's made it back, 20-fold on owning Bitcoin. Smart guy.
Smart guy. All right, so it's 3:38. There's really no questions, and I don't know how the stocks are trading.
Just remember, keep your eyes. I hope I get the scoop or get the go-ahead. Whoever's talking about Benzinga, the shorts are talking about Benzinga, tell them to post if they know so much. What happened to Capybara today? Tell them to give you the scoop on that. Let's talk. Tell them to tell us what happened there, Big Mouth. I know what happened. Let's see what they say.
Can we short Capybara?
You know what? You don't want to be him. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm not. I told you I'm not at liberty to speak yet, but I hope soon. But it's super funny.
Would you
super
rather
sad
be in
thing.
Rikers or in the prison in New Orleans?
I hope they send them to New Orleans. It was Angola, I think it's called.
Mm,
That's the worst prison in the United States.
Angola.
The criminals. I met a guy who was in when I went down to a football game down there, and we talked about it. And he said he was in prison. He said it's the worst place ever. He was an Uber driver. He says it's the worst place. I asked him, "Where's the Angola prison?" He said it's the worst place ever. He was in it for a year. The worst place on the planet, he said. And that's what they need to send all these criminals to. Hey, listen, on a different subject, I was driving New York yesterday. I posted it on 29th Street, I think it was. You know, again, I'm not a racist, but there were 100 to 200, African males hanging out down the one street. These are obviously people that came into the country, have nothing to do, nowhere to go. And, all I visualize is that, besides myself, anyone else, you get caught in a situation. If these guys were to get violent, how do you get away? It's like a small army. There's almost 200 men. 200 guys standing around, I can get 5 to 10 people to hang out. I can't get 200 to hang out on a whole street. It was I think it was 29th Street going towards the west side. Yeah. And pretty scary when you see a gang of people that massive just hanging around, on a sidewalk, hanging out. I don't give a shit what color they are. They weren't doing anything harmful. But again, when you see a group that massive of people, obviously it gets dangerous. So you got to be careful. God forbid anyone gets a stick up their ass and gets pissed off with something. What can happen? There's not enough cops around to fight an army like that. There's 200 people. I've seen groups in Times Square, 20 to 30. That was pretty massive and it caught my attention. I'm a New Yorker and I always look over my shoulder both ways where I go. And when you go on 29th Street, this car's parked on both sides of you. I don't think I have enough gas in my car to run over 200 people if it got out of control. So it's pretty dangerous. So, be careful when you're driving in the city. Know where you are. If you have kids in your car. Listen, if you're driving in the city, I was always taught, when there's a car in front of you, stay back 15, 20 feet. Keep the distance in front of you so they don't pin you in. So if you have room, you can move back and forth with your car. All right, if anyone comes up to your window, at least you can move. I was always taught that by the police, my friends that were cops. All right, so again, I just wanted to tell you that. I was in the city, every day this week, and it's not my cup of tea anymore. So just be careful if you're going around. And, when you start to see gangs of people standing around, you don't want to be in that neighborhood. And just look how awful it was on the subway yesterday. People got shooting a gun. People couldn't even get off the train. How would you like to be on a subway car? And they said the governor said the National Guard's checking. Oh, they missed that guy. He walked on the subway with a gun. Just crazy, crazy stuff. Stay away from it. It's not worth it. And be careful wherever you are in the country. There's people running around that don't give shit about life, and you got to be careful. Anything else? Now that I sound like a preacher.
Yeah. Will hedge funds bail out Lynn Partners or the others that get
Listen,
in
you guys don't
trouble?
understand. Yeah, I can get you 3 hedge fund managers in the room. All right, I'm going to be frank about it. These guys would fuck each other's wife behind their backs. They don't give a shit about anything but stealing money. They are scumbags, all of them. Big, small, indifferent, you name it. Michael Steinhardt, who I covered, was a great guy. Paid me commissions like nobody else. He got caught buying stolen art. I forgot where they stole it from. They came to his office and took it away. They don't care. I mean, just think about that. He's making money. Oh, the guy's got art that's worth whatever. I'll buy it 40 cents on the dollar. He's basically a fence for stolen goods. I mean, they don't care. They don't care about people dying of cancer. They don't care about anything. They care about stealing and making money every day. That's it. They're a special group of people. This is what they do. From Millennium Capital with Izzy Englander to this guy to that guy. These guys would do anything to steal and make money. Don't ask me why, but that's what they do.
Apparently, Oprah Winfrey and Julia Roberts moved onto that island that Hal Mintz lives on.
Fisher Island.
Fisher
Yeah,
Island.
I keep telling you, I knew a gentleman that was very wealthy. I was invited there once. I had to take the ferry over. It's like Fort Knox. There's no crime there. Everyone's buying condos for $10 million. Like, it's no big deal. This guy's a criminal, and he bought a place there. He got caught. How does the DOJ not investigate where to get the rest of that money from to buy that place? I don't understand it. I don't give a shit what protections the state of Florida gives people. Where did the money come from? Where did all these transactions? How did this genius who got caught in a security fraud, basically, right? He was what was it called? A scheme. And no one said anything about it. Got me.
His name Igor Appleboom?
Yes, that's it. Appleton, or something like that.
Igor.
Igor.
Walk
He's Igor.
this way.
He's Igor from whatchamacall, from
Those are some nice knockers.
from Mel Brooks's movie.
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein, right. What was his name? His name was it Marty Feldman? Marty Feldman, yeah.
Walk this
What hump?
way.
Yeah, what hump?
Not that way, this way. Hey, KYP. KYP says she is ready. You are
Okay.
avoiding her.
She's very polite to me. She's giving me enough rope to hang myself. I know her. I know that rope. I know her moves. Tell her to get lost.
Abby
She's trying to
Horner.
hustle me.
Abby
I'm
Horner.
ducking her because I know she's trying to hustle me.
She's probably going to kick your butt
I
21
listen,
to 1.
Listen, she's talking so much shit that that she has to have something to back it up. That's the only person who talks that much shit has something to back it up.
Have you seen her brother?
A brother, what?
I'm just teasing.
Are you sending your brother after me? Where is he?
He's 6'7",
Oh goodness.
built like a
Hey, you know what?
linebacker.
Tell her to send her brother out. Anybody 6'7", they're my favorite pickleball guys to play against. I love hitting them right in the chest. Tall guys have those long arms. They're like a praying mantis. They can't get their hands close to their chest. Instead of going side to side, I go straight at them. So you tell her, listen, the little grease balls, we're quick, us little grease balls. We move around fast.
Well,
That's it. We're all good.
I think
Just
we're all
remember,
good.
people, FNGR has the same, I believe it'll be as powerful without adding the short as ROOT.
Wow.
7 to 53. And they shorted the shit out of it, and now they're paying the price. Longs aren't running in here buying it up $40. They didn't buy it at $7. These are shorts in a panic trying to cover day in, day out. They spike it higher, walk away to see if any comes out for sale, and then they spike it again higher. That's how shorts cover. Shorts cover in a wave. This is a controlled buy-in in the stock.
So Root didn't do a reverse.
They did do a reverse,
Oh, they already did it.
25 to 1.
But that stock's starting to come up off the mat.
Well, it's still the whole value of the company is only $768 million.
It was $400 a share.
It's $8 billion. Is that $400? Right.
or something like that.
That's where my friend gets even at. He bought the IPO price of 25 and 26 bucks.
It's under $1 billion right now.
I said it was at 8 when it went public. My friend bought 200,000 shares in the IPO.
November 6, 2020, Root Insurance raised $750 million. And today the market cap is $767 million.
Right.
It's the same as what they raised.
Right. The whole company got wiped out. No one talks about it. And they got wiped out. The biggest IPO in the state of Ohio in history. They were all bragging about it. This is unbelievable. Wiped out. How many people from the state of Ohio know about that company going public? They're brokers and the local brokers. You got to buy it. It's going to be great. And it's worth what now? $700 million? And that's after it rallied 50 points. It was in the trash bin at $7. No one wanted to buy it, $6. No one even wanted to know it. If you didn't buy it at 7, you're running to buy it at 50?
Yeah.
No one does that, William. You may do that, but most
Hey,
people
it's
won't.
March Madness coming up, isn't it?
I'm not a college basketball guy. My team stinks. I'm a college football guy. And for those who don't
You
know,
don't
I'm
seem that good at
Yankees.
that either.
Hey, my team went 13-0.
Yeah. So how much
I
money
lost
did you
all my
make?
money. I lost all my money. That's what a loser I am. At least I tell you the truth. I won 13 games in a row, and I lost my money. I should have made 63,000. Said I got nothing. But again, Root to me has the same pattern as Finger Motion, because Root was being held down because obviously fundamentally it was too early to be an IPO. The IPO they sold us, they sold the world, was too early to be an IPO because the shorts beat the shit out of it, right?
Right.
3 years later, the company's business that they sold the world going public, whoever brought them public sold the world of bullshit. And now it's a wonderful company. And the past of the wipeout is gone because everyone, it's a $50 stock now if you look at it, right? No one says anything about what happened to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Vocal. It's a beauty now. The guy was yelling at me the other day. It's $9, blah, 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 right? They don't talk about what happened before. At $9, it's worth what, 2 cents?
Well, you
I told you,
divide it
my
by
daughter- I had
500.
My daughter sold it at 1 cent.
It's 0.018.
Once the story changed, I'm out. See you later. Figure Motion story to me is getting stronger. GTI story is strong. We got Alpine, we got the Kramers, we got Freud, we got everything here. All we need is someone to do is once the company puts a business together, fundamentally, is just make it worth 25 cents. That's all they have to do is make it the low fruit. Just make a company worth 30 cents. Put the floor on. If they put the floor in the stock, then it's just a matter of time before it explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a matter of time before they get busted being short the stock. Alpine can't hide it forever, right? They're trying to do it, obviously. Like Richard always says, who's spending millions of dollars on legal fees to keep a dead company alive? For what? Just file for bankruptcy.
Richard's pretty smart.
Yeah. That's why he's not legal advice.
That's why he went to Harvard.
Right. Listen, I worked on a trading desk and I had to come up with ideas because my clients wanted to have ideas. So we talked about stocks all the time. That's my background. That's how it works. And if I'm shitty at it, you hang up the phone, you never listen to me again. That's how it works. If I'm good at it, I get on a roll, all right, then everybody loves you. So I know good and bad times, and I stay the same way no matter what. Trust me, I don't like to lose money. I hate getting robbed. I'm a good loser, but I hate getting robbed. And we're getting robbed by Wall Street. You're telling me there's no trades that haven't settled? Everything settles? If everything's settled, the SEC would have called us up, William, and said, you guys stop bullshitting already. You guys are making stuff up. But we're not, and they haven't. Because guess what? Once they start attacking us, they're going to have to show what's going on here. We have plenty of lawyers that are willing to say, hey, okay, everybody, these guys have been saying this. You're saying it doesn't exist. Well, does it or doesn't, right? So it's a different game. You know, I sent something to law enforcement today. I said, hey, when you go after Jeff Easton and Lynn Partners, start out at Benchmark. Benchmark introduces companies to Lynn Partners. Check their phone records, check their trades at their firm, who they spoke to. It'll lead you to the whole network of crooks. We all know, if Jeff Easton's listening, you fat fuck, that they do what? They signed a debenture. We won't short the stock, but the guy next door to them does it. That's it. That's how it's done. So it's 1 foot from them. It's in the next office. It's someone from their family, someone they can trust. Because no one's going to take all the heat for all this thievery unless they're going to get money out of it, right? How do they earn their money? It's so the money trail doesn't go away. The paper trail doesn't go away unless they burn down the buildings like they did in Chicago. Right?
I guess.
All right. Listen, I'm tired of talking. Have a great weekend.
I'm
If I hear
tired of
something good-
listening.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Bye.
Bye.
All right. 4 minutes to
ended.
4 o'clock. I'm going to hang up at 4 o'clock. So you got 4 minutes to ask a question. This E-Trade form, he pointed out you can just go into the search slot and you can type Rule 144 and this will come up. It's the first packet. It's 4 pages. That's how you get the restriction off of your GTII shares. And then they have a contact you place, which I've used before, and it says upload. And you just go, you take a picture with your phone and you just upload the picture of your signature to E-Trade and it gets done. But anyway, all right, 3 more minutes. I told you I'd give you that much.
Knockers.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Oh, that's all right. Now, that brain that you gave me, was it Hans Delbrooks? No. Ah, good. Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in? And you won't be angry? I will not be angry. Abby someone. Abby someone. Abby who? Abby normal. Abby normal. I'm almost sure that was the name. Are you saying that I put an abnormal brain into a 7.5-foot long, 54-inch wide? What is that what you're telling me?
All right, one more minute. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to say to everyone, I hope you have a good weekend. I guess today in history, Julius Caesar was killed. And on Sunday, it's St. Patrick's Day. And it's also, I think, 2 more Sundays until Easter Sunday. And Indian Wells is this weekend. I'll make a bold prediction that Medvedev wins, although it looks like Sinner will see it out. And Jennifer's here. I'm gonna wear it. I'll be wearing the green. My things to do, though, I don't go out and drink anymore, but I'd like to hear some Irish music. I'm a long way from home. No, nay, oh, never say never no more. And I've searched the world over. No, never no more. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never no more. And I searched the world over. No, never no more. You know who does that? That will ruin my ability to get any. But the person who does the best Danny Boy, oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. You know who does it best of all? Better than anyone? You'll never believe who.
Very good.
This guy's talking, so I turned it down. And when he gets done talking, no one wants to hear him. It's kind of like me. Nobody wants to hear me. Would you please just shut up? Just stop. I didn't tune into this to listen to you. All right, now we go. Now we go. The cheers.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are falling. 'tis you must go, and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow, and I'll be there, sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. And when you come, and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead, as dead I may well be. You'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I will hear, though soft, your tread above me, and o'er my grave will warmer, sweeter be. And you will bear that you love me, and I will sleep in peace until you come to me. But if I live, and should you die for Ireland, let not your dying thoughts be just of me, but say a prayer to God for our dear Ireland. I know she'll hear and help to set her free.
So anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day. I know it's it has to be one of the most beautiful versions of that song. Don't be sad, KYP. Sad spelled backward is das. Das not good. You have a new boyfriend? He's an Irish. He's cooking Irish like an Italian. And I'll be there. Well, I don't know what your question is. There's no MMTLP settlement. There's, in my mind, two kinds of settlements. One is through the legal system. The other is the financial system. One could argue that journalism, Congress, peer pressure might have an effect, but basically there'll be lawsuits or the regulators may have an impact, but the financial system itself will settle. And I think both are hard to predict. I think both could take a long, long time. And the weight, as we've seen, of the system is to buy time, delay, 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 delay. And, you know, maybe there won't be a settlement, as you put it, or maybe a settlement will be just small, or the lawyers take half of it, or by the time it happens, you know, a lot of us have moved on to other things, other realms, even. I really believe that each of us can take charge of our own settlement by moving MMTLP into NextBridge at the transfer agent. And I did that calculation using the lowest possible numbers I could come up with. And then I chopped it and chopped it and chopped it, and I came up with $50 a share. And that's just low as anything. I don't believe that number is what the value of the shares are. I think the shares are worth 5, 6, 700, maybe more. But realistically, the weight of the system is going to try to get us to accept a low number. So I tried to be as conservative as possible. How long do you think it takes for us to see returns? I assume you mean cash. I think you're already seeing returns on NextBridge in the public announcements, in the progress they're having with drilling. I think you are seeing a return on your investment. Now, I've made some assumptions. I admit I've never seen the engineering report. There's not enough facts to know exactly what's going on. But I think there is progress. There are returns. But if you're talking about cash, there's an interesting thing going on where they're not producing some of their wells, I think for tax reasons, because as soon as they start producing, there's a jump in value and maybe they owe taxes. I'm not an accountant, but I would think when we would see returns is when they turn those wells on, when they start producing oil in volumes high enough to pay a dividend. And I don't think they can delay that a whole lot longer. So I'd say within a year to 18 months, you'll start seeing distributions. Because now I'm making another assumption, but I believe that the company wants to distribute its cash flow. It's not what I would do. I would use the cash flow to acquire other assets and grow the asset base before you start distributing cash. But I think the modus operandi is to get cash out to shareholders. Oh, Danny boy. Does anyone understand the accounting and broker-dealer operations? Not me. Yeah, I'd love to come up to Jersey and have Italian St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, if your boyfriend's Irish, you have to get used to emotion, which is good. Uh, uh, Italians more. I saw on my Italian side. I saw a lot of fire and passion. On the Irish side, I could see some, like you're saying, just enjoying the music and gosh, yeah, Sinead she sings that song more beautifully than anybody. She sang it so wonderfully. She also does a good version, I think the best version of Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. The luck of the Irish, potato famine. Just kidding. Yeah, the luck of the Irish to everybody. KYP, I told you. She has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice. Beautiful, beautiful voice. And I bet you'll listen to that. It's on YouTube. I'll show you it's Danny Boy, Sinead O'Connor, 1990, anyway, it's 1993. I also think Tom Jones does a good version of it, but I've never heard anything better than Sinead O'Connor. My aunt, who's the last living aunt I have. I have two, but my godmother is no longer able to recognize people. But anyway, my aunt, it's confusing. They're both sisters. They're my dad's sisters. But my godmother, her eldest son is Danny. And her sister, my aunt, I've heard her sing Danny Boy a cappella, like you just heard Sinead O'Connor. And it just moves you, it moves me anyway, unbelievable. It's just a beautiful, beautiful song. Well, I guess Mike's not an Irishman. Yeah, my old man right here, Irish through and through. My friend Neil, Irish. And right there is Artie Donovan. Some of you would know who that is. I assume he was Irish. Irish soda bread. Well, we're not involved in a settlement amount, but David, what I'm trying to get across to everyone with every fiber of my being, and I've been saying it for a while, but I'm really turning up the pressure now. It's my opinion. It doesn't have to be correct. But the system, Wall Street, when we bought MMTLP, they owed us two things. One, they owed us trading up until the X date. I guess that's right. December 9th and December 12th. They owed us those 2 days of trading. It looks like Jessica Hopper took the fall for FINRA making the decision, and I'm sure they didn't make the decision without the SEC first giving its blessing on it, to halt trading. It looks like they halted trading after trades occurred in the morning of the 9th, as high as $4,000 or $5,000 a share. That's really highly suspect. But anyway, They took those trades away. They took the opportunity to participate potentially in a short squeeze, and indications are that the first trades were gigantically higher. So it looks like they stopped trading because there was going to be a squeeze. That was taken away. There's no way to recreate that. It's an impossibility. And for people that are saying open up trading for 2 more days, they haven't thought it through. Because MMTLP isn't anything. It's just a chit. And you will not get a squeeze if they give. So anyway, I think that's off the table. So that aspect was taken away from us. Now that part of it, I believe, has to go through the court system, and it will. There will be lawsuits. I think there are lawsuits, and I think that could be worth a ton of money. I mean, if it's 4,000 a share, you can just sit down and do the arithmetic. If it's opportunity cost, maybe you are keeping a log and you wrote down in your log that you wanted to buy Bitcoin. That's what you were going to do in December and January after you sold MMTLP. The potential returns of a legal lawsuit are mind-boggling, but they'll also take a long time. And that's one path. The other thing that Wall Street owed us is 1 share of NextBridge, non-diluted, 1 share per 165 million for each share of NextBridge we have. Now, I mean, each share of MMTLP we had, 1 share of NextBridge for each share of MMTLP. We can do that. We can effect that ourselves by transferring over. Now, you can get lost in, are we really getting 1 for 165 million? I'd say yes, as long as there's still shares available. The answer is yes, because McCabe is not going to issue shares from NextBridge for free. Anyway, that in that sense, we can create our own settlement. We get our shares in NextBridge. If, as I believe, NextBridge is having success in the Oro Grande, is proving up the oil, and starts having cash flow, I believe you're going to get that distributed to you as a dividend at some point. And maybe the company's sold. Who knows? But if the legal route actually is successful, I believe a settlement will apply to everyone, even people that moved over to NextBridge. So, but I think one of the strengths is that McCabe understands what happened. McCabe is not going to settle for nothing. And he's not going to settle without including us along for the ride. He's Italian, yeah. Well, I like Italian, I like it all. But there's nothing like, I can't do it anymore. I guess I could if I wanted to, but I don't. There's nothing like sitting in an Irish pub and listening to the music. Well, Perry, I don't know. A couple things about what you're saying. It's sitting at 0. This is WDHI, Worldwide Holdings Inc., which was distributed by HNRC. And I believe it now, it's almost a year ago that it was distributed. I think it was in May of last year. And they did what they said they were going to do. They did it. They distributed WDHI. And it's in your account, it's in my account. But needed to be approved by the SEC. The distribution was approved, I guess, but it's the trading needs to be approved by the SEC. Now, I don't know if at this point the SEC has approved it and the company is slow walking it, the new company, WDHI, or it's some combination of that. I've told you before, Frank Kristen in an interview in November, and I've heard he's got another one out there, but I haven't been able to find it, stated that WDHI was awaiting approval from the SEC to trade. They expected it by the end of last year. In published news, to my memory, they're now expecting it to trade by the end of the first quarter of 2024. But it is not HNRC's decision as to when the SEC gives its approval for WDHI to trade. Now, you're implying that it's zero. Well, you don't know that. The computers that your account is set up with gives a price based on the closing price of a stock each and every day. Well, it's not trading. So what do you want them to put in there? They can only put I don't believe it. I don't know. I haven't looked at my statements. I know on my computer, I think it does have a zero, but it's not a valuation. It's because it doesn't trade. So you just gotta, I don't know how you can train your brain to realize that entry in your account is unknowable. It's unknowable. Now, the 350 is a historic cost. It's an acquisition cost of the various percentages of companies acquired, I guess, under the total company, but now distributed as WDHI. I don't remember all these companies. I remember one of them is a artificial intelligence company and I think it's a Jack in the Box, one of those. So when you drive your car up, there's some sort of intelligence going on. Maybe they remember your last order, or maybe I don't know. I'm not a computer person, but it has some huge benefit apparently for the consumer, but more importantly on a costs and revenue increasing for Jack in the Box, and WDHI owns some of that, for example. To my memory, HNRC owns 17% of WDHI. I could be wrong, and it's actually Frank Kristen who owns 17%. Then there's other ownerships parcels in there. So my point is the insiders and the company HNRC own a significant portion of WDHI. It's in their interest to have this trade at what they believe is the value, the historic cost of the assets, $3.50. Another point, apparently there won't be a large float in this stock, and some have suggested that the stock will go up because it's a small float. I would argue, because Perry, there's a lot of guys like you, it's worth zero. As soon as it trades, you're going to sell, I'm guessing. So I'm of the opinion that the potential is, instead of trading at 350, as soon as it is free to trade, a lot of people are going to dump their stock. So in that context, I welcome that the company has not started trading yet. Why? Two things. One, maybe, and I have no way to prove this, but maybe the new management, the independent management, has been able to develop their storyline, their revenue line, their profit line, such that when it starts trading, they can prove it's worth 350 or 4 or 5. Remember, that's the historic cost. Maybe it's worth $7 a share. I don't know. I'm making it up. So I welcome that it's taken a while, because I hope the company can withstand the selling pressure from people who look at their account and say, oh, it's zero, we're being screwed, and as soon as it trades, I'm selling. And that's fine. I mean, that's a perfectly rational decision. The final thing to say is that Frank Kristen in his interview stated that WDHI is additionally screening additional opportunities to acquire additional companies or parts of companies. So it's possible that in this time that's been going by, Perry, that WDHI has beefed up. It's gotten bigger, maybe, but we'll find out. All I can tell you, CEOs can go to jail for lying. Shorts and research analysts and hedge funds and placement agents and smiling faces, they can take the money home endlessly under Goober Gensler's markets, Adina the Smile Friedman, Robert the Crook Cook, and Chunky Cheese, Cromwell, Causewell, Colston at the OTC. They don't care. The criminals can lie all day long, steal, don't pay taxes. No one cares. If a CEO makes one lie, they can go to jail. So Frank Kristen has everything I've just related to you in my best ability. Frank has said in public, and he's put out press releases. Unless he wants to go to jail, I think those press releases and interviews are accurate. So I just hope when it starts trading that it's not $3.50 a share. I hope it's $10 a share. But look what they did to my song, Ma. Look what they did to CAUD. Look what they did to HNRA when they de-SPAC'd these companies. The criminal, I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are. And no one in the regulatory side, NASDAQ, OTC markets, FINRA, SEC, even has a curiosity. They don't even have a curiosity to find out who did it. But they destroy the stocks overnight. And I hope, Perry, that HNRC, Frank Kristen, the new management of WDHI have been spending the last many months strengthening the story of WDHI. So when it comes out and starts trading, that it goes up, not down, even if you want to sell. But I can't tell you when the SEC is going to approve it. I can't. I have no idea. My guess is, though, it's coming to the end of the first quarter. He said that he thought it could be approved and trading by the end of the year. The next logical time is the end of the first quarter. But we'll find out. Find out, Barry. Yeah, nothing compares to you. She did a great job of, but for my money, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, and Danny Boy are her best works. Oh, you did hear it before? Sinead has just an amazing, amazing voice. And she also had a lot of hurt. Hey, Donald. Yeah, I like most Italian women. Yeah, loves. Yeah, loves. I agree with everything you said except 2 days trade. Otherwise, tobacco would not even be talking to McCabe about blockchain. David, I'm slow sometimes. I don't understand that. I don't understand what blockchain has to do with the 2 days of trading. It's not going to happen. And there's no way, there is simply no way to make a short squeeze happen out of thin air in that case. They saved themselves. But I mean, tobacco knows what he's talking about with blockchain. I have some books that I've read. I don't claim to be an expert in blockchain. But to go to your last part of your statement, a share count. Yes, we need a share count. If we did it voluntarily, no one's going to believe us. The liar, Professor Angel, in my judgment, will come and lie again. Jim Cramer will come and lie again, in my judgment. Do I have to say it? Everything I say on my videos is my own judgment, my own opinion. But one thing, David, by everybody moving their shares to NextBridge, and NextBridge finally runs out of the 164,720,438 shares, or whatever it is, to distribute. Well, then McCabe can go to the lawyers on the other side and say, hey, what do we have here? We've delivered everything. We did our job. And the broker dealers on the other side say they still have 499 million shares of MMTLP. How do you explain that? And everyone's going to fight that never gets into the USA Today or on CNN or to Maria Bartiromo or to CBS or Rachel Maddow, that paragon of integrity and honesty. $35,000 a show she makes. $35,000. I'm not trying to argue either, but David, I don't understand there's not enough room in your thing there, but if Johnny Tobacco gets McCabe to use blockchain, it's not going to cause a squeeze. It's not going to happen. So I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you that if Congress for some reason could force feed to us 2 days of trading, at the end of those 2 days, when we get half a penny or zero back, we're going to be sitting there going, hey, wait a minute. I thought it was going to squeeze. And we'll go back to Congress and say, hey, it didn't squeeze. And they'll say, well, you told us you wanted 2 days of trading. You got it. You got to be careful what you ask for there. That's my opinion. I assume, David, that you know perhaps much better than I do what's going on. We were that it would open around 350. Well, yeah, I think that's what he said, that they expected trading to start at $3.50. I personally don't, and I haven't looked recently. So maybe I'll do that this weekend. But Worldwide Holdings has a website, and maybe I can look at it this weekend, and maybe there's some more information. But I didn't see enough data to understand how they got to $3.50 a share. I saw the arithmetic. I saw the 53 million or whatever it was divided by, okay, hey presto, 350 a share. I got that. But I didn't see why it would just kind of be seen in the market as having that value. The one fly in the ointment with HNRC and Frank Kristen is the tiniest of potentials that he might have done a deal with someone like the players we've talked about. I don't think so, because I can find no evidence of it in any filings. But boy, the stock trades that way. So to me, it's an open question. Will the shorts try to destroy WDHI? I'm hopeful they don't. And I'm hopeful there's revenue, profits, cash flow, maybe even a distribution, and maybe some acquisitions and maybe a research report from an institutional. Maybe there's institutional buying. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about the assets other than the one I described somewhat that Worldwide Holdings has. But I'll tell you, Perry, I have quite a few shares, and I'd like nothing better than it to open at 5 or 7 or 10 or something. It'd be great. Ham did come on, Robert. Ham did come on. I would say 2 hours ago, 2 hours and 15 minutes, something like that. But he did come on. Yeah, blockchain does take that away. However, there's a lot to go from here to there on that. Now, the advantage Johnny Tobacco has in dealing with Greg McCabe is that Greg McCabe already understands the situ. Secondly, Greg McCabe's company is private. It is private. So there are some things they can do. And maybe what Johnny Tobacco is talking to McCabe about is, here, put it on blockchain, then you can go public. And I'm not smart enough to figure out if there's any angles the criminals will have with that. But I would hope with every fiber of my being that McCabe does not go public until this massive short position is either proven, squeezed out of existence, basically that it sees the light of day, or it's paid off and gone, then go public. If Nextbridge were to go public right now, the criminals would just move 500 million shares of toilet paper in your accounts that say first Torchlight, then MMAT, then MMTLP. They just move it in and it'll say Nextbridge, and you'll never know. You'll never know. Yeah, I'm in the middle of, well, you heard me. I'm in the middle of moving, but ignoring the court system, what do you see as the timeline? Well, I still, that leaves two timelines if you ignore the court system. One is, will the system buy in the counterfeit shares that I believe exists? The only thing that's going to force them to do that is when they see value, cost, and growth in that cost on the other side, on the NextBridge side. I don't think they're there yet. The lawyers are still lying to each other and lawyering to each other and posturing to each other. And I don't see there's pressure yet building in the financial system to settle. But if an engineering report were released, if those wells start cash flowing, if there were a takeover offer, if they could JV, if they could somehow prove, lawyers want proof, not speculation, except in their marriages, I guess. If they could prove the value, you could start seeing movement, in my judgment, from the financial services companies trying to settle to limit their risk. And they'll try to lowball everything and get releases. Personally, I don't see any of that building to a head. I don't think it's going to be this quarter. I don't think it's going to be next quarter. I don't even know if it's going to be by the end of the year. But to me, if there's any pressure to get something done, they might as well wait till December, because if they do it in December or they do it now, it's going to be booked against 2024 earnings either way. Unless the progress is so dramatic and so definitive that the value proposition at NextBridge is going into that hockey stick phase, and they go, oh my God, we better settle it now, because if we don't do it right now, it could be $500 a share in September, it could be $1,500 a share in October, it could be $2,500 shares, and we better do it right now. If that sets in, you could see a financial system, a stock brokerage firm settlement plan. I don't see it. I see no evidence of that. But as we keep working on it, as these people, some you know their names, some they toil in relative anonymity, we could get a breakthrough. You know, all you need is the Maryland Teachers Retirement Plan, where Goober Gensler graduated, went to high school, to realize the risks, and it could change. Okay, enough on that. In terms of NextBridge making a payout, I see zero chance of a payout coming from NextBridge until they produce oil at volumes which allow them to meet CapEx, whatever it is. We have no knowledge of it, but CapEx might be more leases. CapEx might be acquiring companies. CapEx could be drilling 20 or 30 wells. I don't know. But once they start producing and the oil and gas start flowing at such volumes they have excess cash flow, then you could get a payout, a dividend. And I think you're 18 months away. 18 months away. That's my opinion. I don't see anything happening quickly. We're already in March. Before you know it, it'll be August. And before you know it, you'll be hanging your Christmas decorations or whatever. And that's why I really believe that you need to, for 2 or 3 reasons. One, if we move our shares, Greg McCabe will have a count. if the count shows, which I believe it will, that there's hundreds of millions of shares of MMTLP that got screwed, well, then you got legal action. You can start, and the press, you can start publishing it. That brings pressure. And the one thing the financial system does not want is for retirement fund holders to realize that the system is all fraud, so they may buy in. But I'm sorry, Sam, man, I don't see anything happening before the end of the year. I'm not as close to it as dozens of people are. So, Don Fizz, Anna, Junk Savvy, Busy Brands, Richard Hoffman, Rosa. There's so many more people that probably can give you a much better answer than I do. But I just don't, they don't want to settle it. They want to buy time. They don't want to confirm that the problem exists. Jennifer looks Italian. Or she could be, well, Frank stopped responding, Perry. There's a couple of reasons. You name the one, but the other reason, as he said in his interview, they were in a quiet period because they were in the middle of screening and acquiring other companies. He didn't say they were definite, but that's a quiet period. He can't talk about it. The other quiet period was something to do with the SEC, and maybe it was the approval of the dividend. I can't remember. But that was also a quiet period. He also entered into an agreement to raise $10 million at the beginning of last year that he's referenced many times. And to the extent that that got hot and heavy, perhaps he was not allowed to talk then either. That would be a quiet period. They also are trying to uplist HNRC. Perhaps, I'm not a lawyer, but perhaps there were some reasons he couldn't speak then either. To me, it has been somewhat disappointing that he hasn't given an interview since November that I know of. I looked everywhere I could last night for about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. The whole point of 2 days training would be shorts are forced to close. They will be closed out. Okay. Let's take the first part. Shorts would be forced to close by their own volition. Why? What would be the penalty if they didn't close? At the end of 2 days, what would be the penalty? They could say, hey, we put our offers out there to buy back. Well, what'd you do? Well, we put it at what we thought was a fair value. What was that? Well, we put it all out at 5 cents a share or a penny a share. And we in good faith, we put it out and we're unable to buy any stock. Well, what would the penalty be? I don't see what would force a short to buy themselves in. Now, the second part of what you're saying, they will be closed. In other words, the prime broker or the brokerage firm will be forced to buy them in. Okay. Why would they pay a high price? Why? Why would a prime broker cause themselves losses? if a prime broker is sitting with 100 million shares and you say there's 2 days of trading and they're forced to close, why would they run it up? Put it out at a penny, put it out at 10 cents, put it out at half a penny. See what we can buy. At the end of 2 days, they tried to buy it back. They did everything they could do. And then why would regulators come in? They've never done it before. Why would the DTCC set it up so that they could create, let's make it up, $1 trillion of losses for the brokerage firms? Why would it? Just doesn't make any sense, Eric. I just do not see any scenario where 2 days of trading will cause a flurry or a short squeeze in the price of the stock. I think it's much more likely that the system, which has abused you and me many, many times, will continue to abuse you. That's what I think. Yeah, that's ha 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 ha. It's actually a pretty good joke, but I've heard it so many times, but it's a pretty good joke. Now, Perry, I'm glad you asked. I don't really always know how I come across. I get worked up because I'm trying, and Perry, I have a lot of it. I have a lot of, for me anyway, I have a lot of WDHI, and man, I could have used it trading last year, but I'm hopeful that they are working on some sort of acquisition. And maybe, Perry, I'll do some research this weekend because I'm relying purely on memory, I'm doing everything by memory. But I think Frank and HNRC own as much as almost 30% of WDHI, like 27%. I think it's 17. Anyway, I'll look it up. You can probably find it yourself. But it's a significant ownership. So it's in the interest of Frank, Kristen, to make sure that the WDHI trades at a good price. Oh, well, same answer as I gave Perry. If I came across as upset with you, I didn't mean to at all. It's just, I believe the people calling for 2 days of trading are working with the shorts. I think they possibly are paid off. And I think they're trying to rescue the criminals. Remember, we feel trapped, but all of us, I really mean it. I used a really low calculus here. I don't think we're going to be wiped out. Yes, we're having to wait. But for me personally, if it came in at this number, I think I make 5 times on my money. Well, I'll wait for that. I'd like to make a lot more. I think the stock could be 1,000 or 1,500 a share. Don't get me wrong, but just even the most conservative, and then cut it in half. I even cut one of my numbers by 3/4 to try to get as low as possible. So I think, whilst we feel trapped, I think we're very fortunate that the resource is there, that we have a great team of guys and now some women developing it, and oil prices have recovered. So I actually think, even though we feel trapped, we're making money. The other side of it, the shorts are trapped. And they're fighting with everything they can. There's two aspects to it. One is the cost of MMTLP NextBridge to the system. Call it $1 trillion. I don't know. I'm making it up. Call it $1 trillion. The system can handle it. That trillion will move from some brokerage firms to other brokerage firms. And they'll make fees on it, and they'll trade it, and they'll probably get it back from you and me in other ways by trading. The system can handle $1 trillion loss over time. And they might be preparing for it now. But the second aspect that they really can't tolerate is if it is proven that these shares were counterfeited, then people can't say Ham's been wrong all along. People can't say there's systems in place. People can't say, oh, they wouldn't let that happen. People can't say that these are the best, most transparent markets in the world. There'll be an aha moment. Wait a minute. This is a pretty obscure company, and it's cost the system $1 trillion. What's happening in Tesla? What's happening in Apple? What's happening in all of our stocks at the Maryland Public Teachers Retirement Fund that Goober Gensler matriculated, estate he matriculated? So they want to avoid that. Well, we do, as Anna said in her Twitter post, what's the point of meeting anymore until we have the share count? I believe, and I agree with her 100%. I believe that what Greg McCabe is trying to do with a little bit of inducement of that one deal, and maybe I'm joining in here intentionally, is by transferring the shares. If it gets full, if the full transfer happens, there's no more guesswork. It's known. Greg can call up, he can go down the NOBO list, and he can say to Morgan Stanley, it shows here you've got 75 million shares on your books, or that's what you're telling me. But the what do you call it? The street name shows 75 million shares. But we just got to tell you, here, we can't break it down exactly, but here at NextBridge, we've already allocated 100% of the 164 million plus shares. It's all allocated. So whatever's showing on your books is counterfeit. It's non-delivered stock. And that's going to be the short herd around the world, or is it the shot herd around the world? Hey, Robert. Well, that's an interesting point. The distribution happened after MMTLP. I think it's different, Donkey, for one clear reason. WDHI, I'm hesitating because I guess technically WDHI is private initially. So in that sense, it's the same. But anyway, it's contemplated that WDHI will be a trading stock immediately. So if they want to move a short position, if they have one, and there's no indication there's a short position in it yet, but they could move it. The only thing that concerns me a bit is I do not understand why HNRC is trading at 2 cents when the book value is reportedly $2.32 roughly a share. Is it toxic? Is it a toxic financing? But I look, he's used financial engineering, that's for sure, when I've read all the many filings that I've read. But I haven't seen a deal with a Jeff Easton or a Yorkville or a Kramer or a Ionic or a Aubrey or a, I haven't seen any of those deals. And I'm not trying to say any of those are bad people to deal with necessarily, but I just don't see it. So, well, Tom, if you on E-Trade anyway, they gave a 2 or 3 step process, but it boiled down to go into the search button on the website, not on the app, on the website, type in Rule 144, hit the search, and the first thing that comes up is a Rule 144 restriction packet. Click that, and you can print it out. In the case of E-Trade, it's the instructions. It's the seller's representation letter. It's the signature page on that letter. And then you also have to fill out a stock power so they can get the shares that are sitting, I guess, in a block issued first in your name, but then in street name for your account. I hope it's not going in street name. I hope they're still requiring the registration to be through the transfer agent, and there's a hope of catching the system out. But it might be they've just given up and it's just going to go into street name and it'll just be washed in with everything else. Thank you, Doug. Johnny Tobacco could work for, I've never met the guy, and I think Greg McCabe probably has screened him, but anyone that comes in with a big solution out of the blue, I just assume they work for the shorts. But I don't know. I've never heard anything negative one way or the other about Johnny Tobacco. Ham likes him, but he doesn't really know him. Blockchain does seem to be an answer, but if the net of it all is we'll get 2 days trading, I hate to say it, if that's his solution, which I don't know if it is at all, I think then he works for the shorts. But there's quite a few hypotheticals in the statement I just made. So it's don't catch me out that I'm making an accusation at all, because I'm not. Yeah, I think MMTLP is a real risk. And the hard work, my favorite image is when I was walking the halls of Congress, I saw this person at the elevator, checklist in hand, bag over her shoulder, focused on going down the list of all the financial services members' offices and just doing it. Everybody else is talking and meeting each other and going to Pete Sessions' office, and who I met with last week on an unrelated thing. I didn't take pictures because I think it would have been violation of the trust of that situation, but I spent quite a bit of time with him. An hour and a half. And there was a group of us. I wasn't all by myself. Small group. But anyway, she was going down just with the determination, one person against the system, trusting in Congress. And that's the image I carry with me. And it had a real impact on me. And so people are coming out after MMTLP, but the power of Anna Queen of Trades, is beyond measure, as is everybody else. I've named some of them today, but there's dozens of people. The power is amazing, and it's going to win out. The evil cannot win, and it will not win. Oh, thank you, Sam, man. Yeah, I do get annoyed sometimes hearing the same question. You're right about that. But it's not always fair for me to feel that way, because each time you answer a question, you say it a little bit differently. It breaks through with someone, and something to me that seems so obvious, even with me, as I'm discussing it or hearing a question, I go, wait a minute, that's a good point. I might be wrong there. So it's just it's a way of moving forward. Yeah, I think the oil. Look, it's not riskless. It's not riskless. But what's amazing about NextBridge now, as compared to Torchlight when I first studied it a decade ago, now you're gonna really test my memory. I'm gonna say they've drilled 25 or 30 wells. 15 plus 10 plus maybe more. You probably know. But they've actually drilled this. And it's just light years ahead of where it was as an idea 10 years ago. It's now a reality. That's one idea, tender offer from the DTCC. What I think, if I were McCabe, I don't know what his goals are, but he's got roughly 250,000 shares he can issue. I think there's 500 million to 600 million shares which are counterfeit. So he doesn't have enough. But he can vote on that and expand it. But I think he should ask the moon. $12.50 a share. And out of that settlement, $12.50 a share, pay the lawyers $50 a share, pay the courts and the other costs and the et cetera is $50 a share, and make $100 cash distribution to all parties, both at NextBridge and at MMTLP. And then what's left, let's call it $1,000 a share times 500 million shares. I'm gonna multiply that just because my arithmetic in my head I can get off by. So it'd be 500 million times 1,000. That's a shite load of money, $500 billion. Yeah, 500 billion. So $500 billion. I think that should be paid, Beery. I think you're just going directly to the point. But that money should come from the hedge funds, from the criminal LLCs, from the market makers, who don't probably have nothing. The prime brokers, there will be one or two prime brokers that go out of business, and from the broker dealer accounts. But that won't touch this big number. The next place is the NSCC, but then you're right, it goes to the DTCC. And I agree with you 100%. I did a video on it a year and a half ago. It's so obvious that's the way it should go. Basically, the criminals and their accomplices have to hand over to NextBridge so much money that NextBridge becomes the stock to own when you're owning more than one. Blockchain distribution sounds like a way to get out of the oil company holders and incorporate into NextBridge. Huge dilution fraud. Maybe. You're obviously seeing something more quickly than I am. But one advantage we have, and it's a team of guys, but I'm just using one name. I think Greg McKay is not going to allow for fraud or dilution. I really don't. So I think we're lucky with that. Well, he said that July of 2022. This is 24. Last year was 23. So it was December of 2022. And you're right. That's what would have happened. Would have happened. That's why everyone smells a rat. That's why people are angry. I believe that squeeze would have made us really wealthy people, but they stopped it. And some of you are going to be wealthy anyway. Some of you are going to be massively wealthy. It's 5:16. I don't see any questions. There's several of you have sent me emails. I'm going to go to FedEx tomorrow morning. I tried to do it this week, but I had some errands to do. I had to do some work for a small group of investors that anyway, that took me a couple of days. And then I met with an investor at the beginning of the week. I just couldn't get in there. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow, go through it all. I don't think I'm traveling anywhere in the short run, but I might be. We might at any time. But I'd like to show, I'll respond to everyone that responded to me if I can get through. I'll go ahead and tell you, there's 4 things on my plate right now that I want to talk about, because I've been hoping one of these stocks would work before I did this, but I think we just sometimes have to move forward anyway. And one is this gold company opportunity. I know some of you are anxious that I haven't gotten back. they're exploring two paths, and they haven't been finalized. But I do believe that there's an opportunity to put up money, and I'm gonna, if one of these trades, I'm gonna do it myself. I already own some, so I know, I'm already at risk in it. There's an opportunity to set up an income stream that can change your life for a very small amount of money. But there are some risks. So anyway, there's the gold company. And just to quantify that, I think you potentially put up a small amount of money, whatever that amount is. It's conceivable that at some point, say in the next 18 months or 24 months, an income stream could start that every year you could get 5 to 10 times the original investment back every year. Now there's some slips between the cup and lip to talk about. Anyway, that's one. Secondly, a friend of mine, I've raised money for him. I've owned some real racehorses with him. He's raising money in Kentucky for 2 iterations of basically thoroughbred horses, but he focuses more on the mares and then breeding the mares so that the foal you can sell, and you can sell the mare as well. And he's very good at it. And I've been in these programs with him. It's not a lot of money, but I want to talk about that. To the extent that you invest, there's also a chance he'll invite you to the Kentucky Derby, which I go to. Anyway, that's the second one. I haven't studied it closely yet. I just received the information on Wednesday. But I don't know. I'd say it's over the last 10 years or more. I've raised money for those programs every year. What was my third? Oh, the third thing is I'm going to try to get to a couple of people. But I'm working closely with a good friend of mine on a private company, but it's in the oil and gas technology space. It is a technology that allows companies to stay in the zone almost 100% of the time while they're drilling horizontally, and teams can coordinate from anywhere in the world on that directional drilling. And it's a fantastic story. It's a private company. They're raising a little bit of money. I don't think it'll ever trade as a public company. I think it'll be bought by Schlumberger or Halliburton or somebody like that. And I think there's a chance to make conservatively 4, 5, 6 times your money in a short period of time. They're not raising a lot of money. It might already be raised, but that's the third one. And then the fourth one, which I've been just mulling over for about 10 days, I would just like to start a company. I've got a public shell that we can use. I've got access to deal flow at the basement level, at the ground floor level, not mezzanine, the parking lot level, drive up through the driveway level, the napkin at the bar level. So my goal would be to just have cash flow. It would be acquiring assets that are cash flowing which can also be expanded 3-4 times over 2 to 3 years, and just be plain vanilla. Just unfortunately, we have to start small because we haven't hit anything big. I don't know what that number is, and I don't want to talk about it because I have an excellent attorney who I want to ask. But anyway, that's the fourth thing. So those are my 4 things I want to talk to you guys about. All right, it's 5:24. I guess I can give it 6 minutes. We could listen to Danny Boy again, or we can tell Irish jokes, or read a poem. I know one thing I can do. I can teach you guys. Remember, I asked you if it's lie or lay? I found the answer of lie or lay. Of course, I got to find it. And you probably don't even know the answer of lie or lay. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I know where it was. I know where it was. Okay. All right, I'm going to tell you the difference between lie and lay. LIE and LAY. This error drives some people crazy, but it isn't hard to explain. Lie never takes an object. I don't know what that means. Lie never takes an object. My sister could explain that, but you know what a direct object is. Lie never takes it. Lie means to rest or to recline. I need to lie down. The books are lying on the floor. The principal parts for lie are lie, lay, lying, lane. Lay always takes an object and means to put down, to place. He laid the books on the floor. He will lay himself on a bed of nails. Ask yourself, lay what? In the sentences above, and the answer would be the book and himself. If there is no answer, use lie. Strategy number 2, this is easier. If you can substitute put, use lay. He put the book down. He lay the book down. He put the dog on the couch. He lay the dog on the couch. Otherwise, use lie. Laid, laid, laying, and laid. I don't know if that helped you or not, but I wanted to find the answer. All right, 3 more minutes, and you can tell I'm trying to fill the airspace for 3 minutes. Hello, darkness, my old friend. In the darkness. All right, we're waiting for the end. Still 3 minutes. So maybe we can check some scores. ZJYL is up 17 cents. T-Low is up 1 penny. GDC is up 4 cents. HNRA up 44 cents at 356. All right, so I'm going to, it's 5:28. I'll just sign out. I'll wish everybody a good weekend. It's Ides of March, but happy St. Patrick's Day. Maybe I'll come back on St. Patrick's Day. Who knows? And blessings to everyone. Peace to everyone. Love to each of you. Ciao.